Diablo Immortal is here to take over your life. Whether on phone or PC, the latest entry in the long-running Diablo series has been expertly crafted to give you the grind of a lifetime. All the gacha mechanic hell of the mobile space is here, and it's carried along by excellent visuals, solid performance, and a stupidly fun MMO-light take on the Diablo 3 formula. The big question is, can you have fun without spending your life savings? I've put nearly 40 hours in, and I've spent $5 on the Battle Pass and come out quite satisfied with my experience. Let's go over everything in this massive and excellent mobile take on the beloved franchise in the XboxEra review of Diablo Immortal. The biggest narrative around Diablo Immortal's release has been about the monetization, so let's hit that first. The game doesn't so much feature pay to win as it delights in endless pay to skip. Timers and resource limitations exist everywhere in the endgame, and you can pay lots and lots of money to try and maximize your character's gear if you so choose. I haven't found anything that is inaccessible without paying yet, but there are multiple areas where things are far more readily available if you cough up some dough. This really is the tried and true, horrific monetization scheme behind nearly all major mobile titles. It's been interesting to see people's first real foray into the world of gacha mechanics, and I hope it signals a sea change, though I doubt it. There are enough whales out there that are willing to spend hundreds, if not tens of thousands of dollars, and they pay for the freeloaders like myself, who might buy an occasional season pass for $5 at most. The biggest offender in the microtransaction arena is the legendary gen grind, which is really hard to get after a while and incredibly expensive to upgrade. If you want to min-max your gear, which is the true focus of any Diablo title, as quickly as possible, you need to run legendary rifts over and over again. You have a minuscule chance of getting a legendary gem drop, which you can then use or destroy to upgrade a gem you already have. This treadmill is at the heart of a Diablo title, but it's time-gated here because it's a free mobile game now. You can bypass this limitation as often as you want, and that is, again, the heart of how Blizzard and developer NetEase are going to be making tons of cash. There is also a month-long battle pass that has 40 levels and costs $5, while offering up tons of in-game resources and a few cosmetics. There's also the Boon of Plenty, which adds extra resources, drops, and various inventory slots for more money, but it only lasts for a short period of time. It's all gross, terrible, and entirely not new. Yes, the monetization in this game sucks. If you have an addictive personality, and you should avoid it at all costs if you feel tempted to spend half a paycheck to more quickly gear up a single class that is eventually tied to a single server. The other big issue with Diablo Immortal is that server system and its lack of both cross-region and cross-server play. So if you and your friends are looking to stomp some demon heads together, you better make sure you all start up your characters on the same server. In full old-school WoW style, once you put a character somewhere, that is the only place they can ever play, and unless NetEase has plans to change it, you cannot play with people outside of that server from everything I've tried, though boy, I'd love to eventually be wrong. The reason behind having these servers, though, is rather cool, as it's an almost MMO style of everyone playing together all the time. It ends up being both one of my biggest complaints and probably my most enjoyed features of the game. For all of its limiting factors, seeing tons of people around me all fighting their occasionally invisible enemies as I fight mine feels damned cool. Having dungeon runs that I can matchmake in seconds and complete in 5 minutes is perfect for a Vone version of Diablo. They've brilliantly streamlined every aspect of Diablo 3 into something that's both bite-sized but still massive. The story begins like most. You're a damned powerful adventurer looking to stop a new Lord of Hell. This one has a dumb name, Scar, and he's a big jerk. You'll work alongside series familiar Deckard Cain as you look to banish the demonic horde and save Sanctuary. The story's been fine so far. It's neither fantastic nor terrible. The majority of it is voice acted and it's both well written and well voiced. It is what it is. Its biggest strength is that it never gets in the way of me quickly going off and powering up my character just a little more in the short bursts of time I either have or want to play. On mobile or PC version being stuck at 1080p, but otherwise it looks and runs fine, it's a decently large title. That full mobile install was a hair over 11 gigabytes total, while the PC one maxed out at just over 26 gigabytes. The inputs on mobile are of course touch and controller, with a mouse added in place of touch on PC. On both, I found a controller to be my preferred way to play, as the WASD and number key setup on PC ended up being a bit difficult to use easily, and clicking to move mostly just caused me to attack everything because of the mobile-ified UI size. And everything in this game is highly streamlined to work within the limitations of a touchscreen UI. From the menus to your gear and combat, it all works really damned well on a touchscreen. Combat-wise though, controller was the best for me by far, and quickly swapping to a mouse for the UI was my preferred combo for tackling the game's various systems on PC. Pressing right on the D-pad brings up a cursor to select things in the UI, and it feels awful. The acceleration is all off, and the cursor feels attached to certain UI elements in a weird way that makes it very difficult to be accurate with. On a phone, you can just start pressing things with a thumb, but if you're playing on a PC, I'd keep that mouse handy if you want to keep your frustration levels down. Another big way they've helped with frustration in general is how gear is handled. You now upgrade slots, essentially, instead of each item individually. You have an upgrade, but you've already leveled your previous item to rank 3. Well, once you equip the new one, the game lets you simply swap any upgrades and gems you had in the previous one, easy peasy. Around level 30 or so, out of 60 in total, I started getting legendary drops, which changed up my moves in really fun new ways. Gear sets are in as well, though not many to start for each class, and they are quite hard to get, which is good because it's Diablo. The controls are simple but fun, with a main attack and 4 hot swappable special moves. Each main attack has a meter-built ultimate tied to it, which helps in a pinch when things are getting tough. And you have a 3-charge potion that has a meter that refills rather quickly. Combat-wise, it's definitely easier than Diablo 3 to start with. You are far more powerful and capable, which is good, because while the grind is the thing, on mobile it just needs to be less by default. The true brilliance of this game is how it accommodates both short and long sessions alike. There is a ton of content on offer, but none of it ever takes longer than 10 to 15 minutes to finish. And if you have to drop out and rejoin, you always come right back to where you just left off. I never felt punished for having to turn off my phone to take the dogs out or to cook dinner. When I came back later, I was right back where I was and able to keep having fun. And this game is freaking fun. For all the microtransaction issues the endgame balance has, I never once felt like any of the fun I was having was taken away by it. I don't personally care about the leaderboards or PvP. If you do, it'll probably be a much rougher experience for you at launch, though. Graphically, the game looks brilliant on mobile and good enough on PC. I have a decently beefy rig and average between 250 FPS in big fights and 1000 FPS in most cities and menus. It's not a demanding game for most PCs, but it did make the back of my phone feel like the surface of the sun when I dialed the settings up. 60 FPS is a must for me though, and my Galaxy at 21 FE ran it just fine with 0 perceptible drops. Connections to the server could be more tricky, as I felt the biting snap of lag often, but the game quickly corrected itself and it never once kicked me out, and it always gave me the benefit of the doubt during a disruption when it came to incoming damage. Sound-wise, the music is fantastic with a hard-hitting banger in the opening soundtrack, and the in-game cutscenes both look awesome and are when that music kicks in the most. Things can be a bit quiet while running around the world and punching things, but my female monk's voice acting was well done, and it helped set the desolate mood beautifully. The only real other negative I have, though, was constant crashing on PC. I had it happen roughly 15 times in my 40 or so hours. Thankfully, with how instantly everything loads and the fact that the game always put me right back where I was, it wasn't nearly as frustrating as it could have been, but it's still something that needs to be ironed out. I had no crashing issues on the phone client though, and loading there wasn't nearly as fast as my PC. In conclusion, Diablo Immortal is stupidly fun, Looks great, sounds great, has a Diablo-ass Diablo grind, and features the now par for the course, horrifically imbalanced monetization system that has plagued mobile for years. The good news is that you can enjoy the hell out of this game without spending a penny. But if you're either prone to microtransaction-itis or you really care about PvP balance, it wildly throws off that endgame. For me though, this is a title I will be playing for a very long time while I wait for the next mainline entry in the series to hit. It is a great game, and with some love, care, and a lack of greed, it very well could become the best mobile title ever made. Thank you so much for watching, and if you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help the channel grow. And we'll see you here next time on XboxEra.